You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Good morning, and welcome to Mission Matters Live, a program focused on promoting a spirit of mission among the people of God in the Archdiocese of Chicago. My name is Megan Mio, and I am the director of the Global Mission Office. Our engineers this morning are Mike. You are listening to WNDZ 750 AM, and Mission Matters airs on the second Wednesday of every month at 8 a.m. Central. And this month, we are blessed to have with us in studio Father Leo Tinkatumire, who has come to us all the way from the Archdiocese of Mbarara in Uganda. He is pastor of St. Charles Lwanga Umakashanda Parish. Thank you. And he is president and co-founder of Ledi Resource Center, which is an Illinois-based not-for-profit organization focused on transforming the rural poor community of Isinjiro, Uganda. The Global Mission Office is proud to sponsor the construction of a kitchen and dining hall for Leo Primary School in 2022, which was just one of the many projects of Ledi Resource Center. So we have an ongoing relationship with Father Leo and those he works with. Father Leo lived and ministered in the Archdiocese of Chicago for 6 years while he was studying for graduate programs, and he now has both a master's degree and a PhD in systematic theology from universities here in the U.S. Father Leo has been a friend and contact to this Global Mission Office since even before I have been working in this ministry, so for many, many years, more than 10 years. And he has preached mission appeals, both here in the Chicago area as well as all over the country for many years as well. I'm sure he'll be able to tell us about that. And he's represented both Ledi Resource Center as well as the Archdiocese of Mbarara. So good morning, Father Leo. Thank you so much and welcome.
Good morning, Dr. Mio. I feel so blessed this morning. I cannot tell you how happy and how grateful I am. Good morning, all listeners of WNDZ 750. This is a blessing that you can have a voice and sometimes even an image in your own bedroom and your sitting room. We thank the Archdiocese of Chicago for this. Yeah. And I feel so blessed that I'm here. Because mission is my passion. Yeah. And when I'm not doing mission, I feel like I'm missing something. And for that reason, this is a very, very important moment for me. Mm-hmm. Secondly, that I can be here with the Global Mission Office that have stood with me for years. Well, when I came to Chicago, they received me, they understood me as a missionary. Mm-hmm. They supported me, directed me on how to do missions. And obviously other dioceses, as I will be explaining. Mm-hmm. And again, I wish to reach out with my heart, not just my voice. If it were possible that my heart could be read, I would just let the listener read it and probably see what I'm talking about and what it means to be mission. Yeah. So I feel so happy and so blessed. I'm very grateful.
Well, folks, you can tell why I asked Father Leo to be on the show today. We're very lucky that he's here. He had just came in for his holidays, I think, here in the U.S., and maybe you'll be making mission appeals too. You can tell us. But he's here visiting, and all the way from Uganda. So we're very lucky to have him here in studio with us. And you can tell there's something about him being here in person too, the energy that you bring. So we're very glad to have you.
It's my pleasure.
So we want to just get started. I've said a little bit about Father Leo to already as just a general introduction, but we want to get to know you a little bit better. So I mentioned that you were born and raised in Isingiro,
yes.
in Uganda,
In Uganda.
which I understand is in the southwest region of the country. And you have this organization, Ledi Resource Center, which is working in that same area where you were from.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about growing up in that area and how you came to the vocation of becoming a priest.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mir. Whenever I'm asked to introduce myself, I always say I'm a Reverend Father Leo Tinkatumire, PhD. And normally people will say, you have to say all that. I said, yes, I have to say all that because first you have to know me, as a person, a male being. Then secondly, you have to know me as someone who was ordained deacon. Whenever we are ordained deacons after the seminary training, then we become reverends. And whenever we take the vows of the priesthood and we are anointed, then we say we are fathers. And obviously I acquired the name, which is my surname, Tinkatumire, from my parents. And that's what I grew up with until I was baptized Leo, after Pope Leo the Great.
Oh, okay.
After Pope Leo the Great. Then after my studies, I also acquired those 3 letters, and having passed my PhD first class, Duquesne University invited me in a special way, and it was like a little ceremony, and I was told I'm PhD, and I have to append those 3 letters on my names every time I sign them. I said, wow. I said, yeah. And they reminded me, you have to live up to that. If you don't, we have a right to pull back our PhD.
Oh, my gosh.
I said, what? So this came at the apex, but you want to know the beginnings. The beginnings are always, I think, the most important for any person. Isingiro is my home. And I want to tell you, home is good. That's one value my family gave to me, that I have to love my home. And the home should be best. And everything should always resonate toward home. And therefore, I was born in Isingiro to a humble family. My father got an opportunity to go to school. He went up to high school for only 2 years in a seminary. My mother never stepped in a classroom. She always jokes with us. She said, I've never been in a classroom, not even when it is raining, just to keep off from the rain. We said, wow. But she has raised a few degrees in the home. And I was born as firstborn of 9, and 6 boys and 3 girls. And we are born in a simple home. Simple home. I think in an American standard, nobody will understand it. Because I've gone to many parts of the States, I've not found any home that is like what I grew up in. In that little house that was built, not a fancy house, not cemented, not plastered, and there we were, and we worked in the gardens, and we ate what we dug, and we ate from the animals we raised, and we never had any shopping anywhere, nowhere. And as a young boy, obviously we needed soap, we needed some clothes, we needed we never had electricity there, so we would need kerosene to burn in the metallic kind of lamps.
Right?
Yes,
burning lamp,
and all that had to be bought. So it took a lot of sacrifice to even get a little surplus to buy anything. So sometimes when people see other people walk near naked, not because they want to show themselves, because they are on a beach, but because they cannot afford to buy the clothing. So some people will say, but what's wrong with them? But the whole village where I grew up was like that. So some people could not afford to buy things, so they would go the way they are, And you eat what you have grown. If you have not grown anything, good enough. In Africa, it was like if you don't have, if a neighbor has, together you share, you see. And that way, I raised cows. I was this is not like the farms we see here. I have friends in Omaha, and they visit them and see those big farms. You know.
Right, yeah.
But you would be just going
deal.
behind the animals and then bringing them back home. That time there were still many lions and other vicious animals, and we would be grazing out there.
Wow.
And we learned how to keep ourselves away from them, and we would live with them. Today you cannot find them anymore because populations have increased. So, but that's how we grew up. Mm-hmm. And we grew up in this Catholic family because my father told me when he was a young boy, he was talented. He would sing, he would make recitations, and the priests liked him. And for that reason, one priest sponsored him to go to a seminary. When he was there for 2 years, the family was forced to move from where they were to a distant place where we live today because they did not have enough land. And for that reason, he lost the opportunity to continue in the seminary. And he went now in the very, very rural, and he started to a new life there. Yeah. He was not married yet. He was just a young boy. But since he knew how to read and write, he told me he started a school and would be educating these little ones how to write with their fingers on the dust, since they didn't have any books.
Dirt. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, on the dirt. Yes, and but eventually, sometimes blessing will follow you. So when my father was in that place where they went, that's why he met my mother, and they loved each other, and they became a couple. Yeah. And eventually, they got married in the church, and this priest that had sponsored him in the seminary, hence and behold, comes to be going in that area. And he finds him there. He says, "Oh, this is where you came." He said, "Yes." "Oh, you are, nothing is here." He said, "But this is where God brought me." He said, No. I have to make you a catechist.
Well, I was just going to say, okay, maybe not a priest, but he could be a catechist. He could be a lay leader.
So he became a catechist.
Okay.
So he took him to a catechist training, which was farther away from where they were, and leaving my mother alone. She always tells us what she went through when the father was away. Yeah. But eventually he became a catechist of the church. And having become a catechist of the church, having had those values that the priests saw in him, he made every effort to put it in us. I want to tell you, Mio, in my home, the morning prayers are mandatory. And doesn't matter whether you're a teenager, you have to kneel down and pray.
Yeah.
Asking me as a firstborn, I took everything. And you have to work. We would get up by 5:30, we are up, and we are working in the garden. And you have to be disciplined. There is no compromise on that.
Yeah.
Truth and honesty had to be there.
Right.
And nothing. And at that time, I hated my parents. I really, really hated them. And I was always saying, "God, why did you choose these brutal people to be my parents?" I don't know. Should I disappear from this world? What should I do?
Yeah.
Little did I know, they turned me into jury. They really did. And my brothers and sisters and our families, it's different. Even when you visit our area, my brothers and sisters, they're really good. And for that value of the home, for me, because many people ask me, how did you discern priesthood? How did you become a priest? And for me, I still go back to the home.
Yeah.
Because those prayers we were saying, at that time we were saying those long, long prayers, see? And we had to memorize them by heart, all of them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And those prayers, at that time I didn't know the value until I was on my own. And nobody would tell me to say a prayer.
Yeah.
And nobody would tell me to be disciplined, because it was just imbued in me. Yeah. In fact, my seminary life was very, very easy. I would see seminarians complaining and saying, "I don't know this, I don't know what." For me, it was like
compared to your upbringing.
You cannot compare it to the militaristic way I grew up at home. It was just like nothing.
Right, sure.
I only need to be there.
Yeah.
And that's how I think I came to acquire my priesthood in that way.
Yeah.
My father very much wanted me to go to the preparatory seminaries, minor seminaries, but I never got any response to the applications. And I thank God, because if I had gone there, I would have been expelled. And probably would have never become a priest. Yeah, I know myself as a teenager. I know myself.
Oh,
I know.
Too soon.
Probably I would try to assert myself there, and I get in trouble. But eventually, after high school, I was grown. I was over 18 years, and I was head prefect in a school, and this chaplain of ours comes and says, "Oh, Leo, have you ever thought about becoming a priest?" And I look at him and say, no. The things of priesthood do not work.
That's what everybody says.
He said, what do you mean? I said, in my diocese I tried to apply, nobody ever replied me. He looked at me in the eye and said, you know what, Leo, you'll make a good priest. And I was like, this man doesn't know what he's talking about.
This is a joke. Oh, my gosh.
So he said, I have a classmate I studied with in England.
Yeah.
When you'll be going back home, I'll give you a note to take back to him. So I became now a runner between the two priests, writing to each other every holiday. And every time I came to this priest, he would welcome me very well. He would sit me down, get me a cup of tea. I would just feel at home. Then the chaplain at the school was just very good. I said, these guys are good. Mm-hmm. They are good.
They're good role models.
Yes. And how I feel for us as priests, if we could be that. Because every time this seminarian comes, or a young boy, or a young girl seeking, what they see in us is no matter what will impact on them.
Yeah. Can I have you hold that thought, Father Leo?
Yes, please.
He's full of amazing stories. But it's time for our first break.
Yeah.
The time is flying by.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to hear the last part of your vocation story. We want to know how it is that you wound up becoming a priest.
All right.
And then about how you came to Chicago.
Good.
So we'll be back in just a moment to hear more from Father Leo from Uganda. Be right back.
Thank you very much.
Community is core to Catholic Charity's founding mission. For more than 100 years, we have met people and families where they are, serving anyone in need, regardless of their faith, gender, race, or ethnicity. As our world absorbs the economic, political, and social aftershocks of the pandemic, 50% or more of the 6 million people living in Cook and Lake counties have little or no savings. They are a paycheck away from zero. We are deeply grateful to everyone in the Catholic Charities community who partners with us to alleviate the suffering of the people we serve and offer them a better path forward. We are witnessing a message of mercy and hope to a world very much in need. Learn more at CatholicCharities.net.
This is year 44 for me teaching. When I started here, there were teachers here that had taught me when I was a student. Now I'm the old person. Right now, I teach junior high math. I love when kids find what I'm teaching to be fun and they get it. I see that light bulb go off and it's a thrill. People are always amazed. What? You're here for 44 years? It's hard for me to believe, frankly. I love what I do. Every summer I think, oh, I miss the classroom. Even on the weekends, I think I can't wait to get back on Monday and teach those quadratic equations.
Shape the next generation of leaders. Teach. Apply today at archchicago.org/schooljobs.
Do you have an old bicycle that's not being used? Consider donating it to Catholic Charities Veterans Bike Project of Lake County. Skilled volunteers are refurbishing bicycles to make them safe and ready to be used by veterans to get to and from their new places of work. We also gratefully accept financial contributions that are used to purchase bike helmets and other safety accessories. Our veterans have faithfully served the United States, and now it is our privilege to serve them. For more information on the Veterans Bike Project of Lake County, call 847-782-4219. That's 847-782-4219.
Welcome back to Mission Matters Live. I am Megan Neo, Director of the Global Mission Office, and we're here with Father Leo Tinkatumire. He is a priest of the Archdiocese of Mbarara in Uganda, and he is also president and founder of Ledi Resource Center. In our last segment, Father Leo was sharing a heartfelt story about how he came to the vocation of the priesthood and about the importance of his the community that he grew up in Sinjiro in Uganda. And we'll hear more about his mission work in that area in just a moment. But we wanted to get to that transition. So the priest suggested to you when you were in your high school years about becoming a priest, and it was not something you were thinking about. But you came to know those priests,
Yes.
it sounds like, and that your heart started to change.
Yes.
So what happened?
Then eventually, I happened to perform well, very, very well. And I went to show my results to this priest whom I was taking letters to. And he said, oh, yeah, you did well. And you said you want to become a priest? I said, yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, give me your results. I'll keep them for you. Mm-hmm. So he kept them, and he said, just wait for us. Mm-hmm. So the university admitted me, mm-hmm. but I did not go to university because I had now thought about the priesthood, and I really wanted to be a priest. Yeah. And that's how I started my major seminary journey, which really flew very fast. And I didn't find any challenges because discipline was part of my life, and the prayer was part of my life. Hard work was what I was used to. Sure. And in 1992, July 18th, I was ordained a priest. Woo. And after my ordination, immediately I was appointed to a parish where I worked a short time. Then I became the assistant secretary to the bishop, but in a vicariate. So I lived with an Episcopal vicar in charge of schools and youth. They saw I was good at that. They sent me to university to do education. Mm-hmm. In fact, I'm a high school teacher. So when I finished that, the bishop said, no, you come and be in charge of the youth. Mm-hmm. So I was in charge of the youth for the whole archdiocese to motivate them, to most especially to make them pray. And I wanted a very young person to know the Blessed Virgin Mary. Mm-hmm. I feel she's a mother, and when you know her, you can journey well. Yeah. So I did that for only 2 years. The Bishop's Conference asked me to teach in a major seminary. And when I was teaching in a major seminary, these priests were doctors, masters. I only had my bachelor's. So my bishop said, unfortunately, I don't have money to send you. The bishops don't have money to send you. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, probably you will stay like that. Since you are good, they like you. Yeah. So I said, suppose I got an opportunity, would you bless me? He said, oh yeah, why not, Father Leo? But get an English speaking. Okay. I went to the Blessed Virgin Mary. I talked to her. Mm-hmm. We talk once in a while. We talk. Yes. So I said, what do I do, Mom? Yeah. Mom, the bishop has said, I'll open the door. Yeah. Can you whisper to your son? Talk to your beloved, the Holy Spirit. And how it worked is a miracle. The Franciscan University of Steubenville gave me 100% scholarship. Wow. With room and board, with insurance, with food, with books, with a stipend. Oh my gosh. And that's how I came to the United States. Okay. And I did my master's. It was supposed to be 3 years. Mm-hmm. I cracked it in 1 year. And when I cracked it, I told my bishop, I said, now that I've finished my master's, in less time than assigned, can I register for a PhD? Mm-hmm. I passed well. I have honorary A's. Mm-hmm. Duquesne University was very, very happy to offer me a full scholarship for my PhD. Well done. So I started on my PhD. Okay. And Very fast, I went through the 2 years of class, the 2 years of other things, and then my proposal was accepted.
Okay.
When it was accepted, that's when my bishop asked the Cardinal George, may his soul rest in peace, who graciously said, you can come to Chicago and be with us, minister to our people.
Okay.
And I came and I was assigned in the South Side. Now, that's how I came. But then what about the passion and the mission? As a young man, I still wanted to help to see how can I make a difference, a positive difference in this Isinjiro. And I would help young people. I started organizations for the young people so we can get together, motivate one another so they don't fall through the cracks. Then as a seminarian, I broadened on that. So since now I had a platform of the church to make sure that our young people, at least they don't fall through the cracks. Now, as a younger priest, that's when I started thinking, how can I help?
Yeah.
How can I help? What can I do? Because we are fetching water 3 miles away from a river, and you had to carry it on the head and suspend it for 3 miles on the head, walking back home.
Every day.
So that's when I started thinking about water. So one friend of mine said, you need to register an NGO, a charity, because nobody is going to help you as an individual. They will probably more help you as a charity.
Yeah, so an NGO is a non-governmental organization. It's like a charity.
It's a
in
charity.
other parts
That's
of the
what
world,
it is, in
Uganda.
fact. That's a charity. So, and that's when I registered the Leti Foundation for Africa in Uganda before I came to America.
Okay.
So when I registered it, I first talked to my archbishop and he said, this is what I'm trying to do to help the people. He said, but how do you do that? You cannot get any help. We are here, even the church, we cannot get anything. I said, I'm praying. I'm praying.
We'll see.
And I kept praying. So I registered it. And around those times, that's when I got an opportunity to come to the United States.
Right.
And as part of my passion, I would tell people about me, about where I come from, about the challenges there. And my passion was about, can I have water, at least potable water, close that people, the elderly, the children, the pregnant women, those who cannot make the 3 miles, can they have some good water next to home? And that's how I started to build water systems in the rural. And I would do it from the gifts I get from friends. If Dr. Mio liked me and said, oh, I give you $100, I would save it, and that's the money I would go and donate to my people.
Bring it back,
So until one senior man told me, Father Leo, why don't you do something here so if someone has money, they can donate to you, and we can also have tax deduction.
Here in the United States.
In the United States. So I said, but how do I do that? I did that in Uganda. I don't know how to do it here.
It's a different system in the U.S., Yeah,
but he said, no, it's okay. So he directed me to a lawyer.
That's what you need.
Yes. And the lawyer helped me register the Leti Resource Center. In fact, Leti just means it is L-O-E for Leo, and T-I for Tinkatumere.
Leti.
Resource. So because he said, sure, I'm going to help you. And you don't have to pay me anything. I said, after all, I didn't have it. He said,
it worked out great.
I said, okay. Now, what name do you have for this thing? I said, I don't know, but I want to help people. I don't know. He said, why don't we call it Leti? I said, what is Leti? He said, no, L-O-E for Leo and the T-I for Tinkatumere. I said, okay. He put it down. He said,
that's what it came to be.
And he said, what do you want to call it? I said, I don't know. He said, no, don't call it ministries, because there are so many ministries here and there. For you are trying to bring together resources to help your people. So let's call it Leti Resource Center. I said, that sounds good. And that's how Leti Resource Center came to be registered as a Leti Resource Center. Yes.
Okay, now you mentioned the water cisterns as one of your first projects.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing my research in preparation for our conversation today, and I
Yes.
saw that the reason why you do cisterns instead of digging for a well is that that's just really not practical in the area. Is that right?
Because our area is a mineral-ridden area with the petroleum underground. And for that reason, an attempt to dig a well, in fact, you get things that look like crude oil. The reason we have to fetch water from the river is because an elytral spring that comes up, the water is not potable.
It's not clean.
It is so toxic.
Yeah.
So, some of it, when you touch it, your hands just turn the color. So, and for that reason, I would look for a structure like a church or a school, or if there is a government building, then we put gutters, and then we build a water cistern there and harvest rainwater.
You're gathering rainwater.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, it's time for another break, if you can believe it. Father.
Oh, no! This time is running away from us so
He's
fast.
He's got a lot to share, so we're going to have to move along quickly. Okay, it's time for another break, but we're going to continue in just another moment with our next segment, Father Leo.
Okay.
We'll talk more about mission in Uganda. Stay tuned.
Thank you very much.
For more than 20 years, Catholic Charities Adult Protective Services has been advocating for seniors who are the victims of abuse, neglect, confinement, or financial exploitation. With our partners at local, city, and state agencies, our trained case managers follow through on every concern that is brought to our attention in a cooperative way to ensure that our seniors are safe and protected. According to the Illinois Department on Aging, last year nearly 21,000 cases of elder abuse were reported in Illinois. Of these, only 5% were reported by seniors themselves. So raising awareness is an important part of this issue. If you are concerned about a senior you know, call 800-252-8966. That's 800-252-8966. With your help, we can stop elder abuse and look out for the seniors in our lives.
I am a seminarian.
The church needs compassionate and well-trained priests to help guide each of us through life.
What inspires me, what draws me always to the priesthood is continue to see priests be a beacon of hope for other people.
You can play a part in the education of these young men as they prepare for a life of service to others.
I want to be that beacon of hope too, and it sets my heart on fire.
To support our seminarians, make your gift at archchicago.org/seminarian fund or call 312-534-7959.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 708-449-6100 or visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
Welcome back to Mission Matters Live. I am Megan Mio, Director of the Global Mission Office, and I'm here you're listening to WNDZ 750 AM. I'm here with Father Leo Tinkatumire, priest of the Archdiocese of Mbarara in Uganda, and he is the president of Leti Resource Center, which is a U.S.-based nonprofit working in mission efforts in his home community in Uganda. It also has a Ugandan counterpart or original founding organization, NGO, called Leti Foundation for Africa, Uganda. And Father Leo, just before our last segment break, was telling us a little bit about how these two kind of sister organizations came about, and that the original project you were working on was providing water cisterns to the community in Isinjiro. Noting, and cisterns being that they're harvesting rainwater, they're collecting rainwater so that people don't have to travel such a distance to go and gather clean water. But I know there's a number of other projects that Leti and the Ugandan organization have worked on. So tell us more about the resources that you were gathering for the community there.
Thank you very much, Mio. And the listeners, I know time is flying, but my passion was always water. And it is still water up to now.
Yeah.
I have never given up on that.
Mm-hmm.
But then one time, these elders of my community came in a delegation and asked me, Father Leo, you are trying to get us water for the people, but we don't have anybody like you in this area. Mm-hmm. All our children, they are finished high school, and we need a school. A good school.
Yeah.
Why don't you build for us a school?
Yeah.
And I was like, because a water cistern would cost about $10,000, which I would always tell my friends, and we see how much we get. Some individuals who are very charitable would just give that. But now a school, that's a big project.
Yeah.
So I told them, I said, I cannot. That one I cannot. And I walked away from them.
Oh.
But that year I was coming for the mission appeals for the Archdiocese of Mbarara. And I was in Omaha. And I met a woman called Barbara. And when I had finished preaching, they were going out of the church. She turned aside and said, Father Leo, I see what you are doing for the church, but what are you doing for you as a Leo? Is there anything you are doing? Came back to my mind. I told her. I said, I should have built a school, but what? Said, it is too big I cannot do. Said, Father Leo, you can. She left. The next day in the morning, she came with her husband, Chris.
Yeah.
And they had an envelope. And in the envelope, there was $2,500. A check. They said, we are giving you this check. We want to open you to the idea that God is calling you to do. Please go build a school for your people. I looked at the $2,500. It cannot build a classroom, but they told me it opened my heart.
Made it seem possible.
And I went back into the church and I told the Blessed Virgin Mary, I said, whisper to your son again. Talk to your beloved, the Holy Spirit. Please, can I do this? And that's how I started.
Wow.
So I started talking to my friends about the school project. And some of my friends would say, yes, we will see what we can do. And they started to donate. And we started very small, with only 36 students. Then eventually the students increased. And as I talk to you now, we have more than 500 students in that school.
Wow.
And not only that, when the students came to school, these students would get ill. And when they get ill, there is no medication.
Yeah.
And having gone to school with a PhD, how can I allow people to self-medicate, self-prescribe?
Yeah.
And no, these children will die. So that's how I came out now with an idea of the St. Oliver Medical Center. And the center was basically for the staff and the students. But since there is no other medical facility around, I opened it to the community. And Dr. Mio, you cannot imagine what it has done to the community.
Oh my gosh.
It has done so much.
Wow.
And since these parents, most of them were very, very humble, they don't have money. And for that reason, they cannot pay tuition on time. Some totally fail. So one of my friends said, why don't you start a credit union, a rural bank, where these parents can come and save their money instead of squandering it in alcohol and other. Tell them to be saving. So by the end of the semester, they have accumulated enough money for the students. And that's how we started the Sinjiro Business Community Circle, which is in place. And obviously my passion has been always the girl child and the mother. So I had already started something that would bring together the women, that women can come together. When they asked me, what do you want to do with the women? I said, I just want them to come together. Let them come together, admire each other's hair, admire each other's skin, look at each other's babies. The seniors will be knowing what to do. The juniors don't know. That's where I wanted to start. And that's how I started the Women Club. And it has totally transformed that rural area. I bring resource people who can talk about balanced diet, who can talk about how to raise children, who can tell them about hygiene, about family dynamics, which are a mystery. Even to those who are very educated, family dynamics are a mystery. And these women are so grateful. They learn how to do crafts, they learn how to weave mats and make embroideries. But most important, what I really cherish about it, the women come together. And when they come together, they talk, they admire each other, say, how do you do your hair?
One another.
Yes. And that way it is doing a lot. So when I talk about the Loyalty Resource Center, we are talking about all those. We are talking about Leo Primary School. We are talking about St. Oliver Medical Center. We are talking about the Sinjiro Business Community Circle. We are talking about the women and youth. We are talking about the cisterns, because we still sponsor cisterns in the rural where people are, because we have only built 10 cisterns, and these are big, huge among our cisterns, and still many people still need water. So we still do that. So, and all those are under the package of Loyalty Resource Center.
It's amazing. I mean, you were responding to needs as they arose, too, that each of these things developed. And you may, in the future, have more things develop as well. I want to make sure I mentioned before the end of this segment that our office, the Global Mission Office, also known as the Society for the Propagation of the Faith, was very proud to offer some support to Leo Primary School last year in 2022 to support the construction of a kitchen and dining hall for the students. They were using kind of a makeshift place that really wasn't a permanent building. It wasn't working, and the kitchen certainly wasn't working well. And during the pandemic and everything, the students didn't have the resource. They didn't have that structure in place. So it was just post the closed down during the pandemic that you were able to build that. So before we take our break, why don't you tell us in a nutshell how is that hall working out? It's complete, the new building?
Yes. And I'm very, very grateful to the Legacy Grant and most important to the Global Mission Office and the Archbishop of Chicago, Cardinal Supich, and obviously all the support that accepted to give us that grant. The building is now finished. In fact, I saw a picture run on the screen, and we use it. We have not furnished it yet because we need tables. I would wish that my students sit down and they are served food. Now they line up and they get food. Some eat standing, some, which really is not will not give them discipline. But eventually that one will also come. But what you did to the community, as an archdiocese, as a grant, as a legacy grant, is something that will live for centuries. The building is finished. We built it. Now it is there. The students can eat even during the rain. They will just need to go there.
The weather.
And yes,
Yeah.
And and I cannot find words good enough to thank you. We are very, very, very grateful. And at the moment, in fact, for us, for our standards, that one is enough.
It's amazing.
We say that one.
That is excellent.
That is it, yes.
That's a gift to receive.
Yes.
All right, now I know you have more to say, but it's time for our last break.
Okay,
We're going to have one more segment here with Father Leo.
Okay.
And we can hear a little bit more about the impact of the work that he's been doing. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Catholic Charities' Family Self-Sufficiency Program has assisted thousands of single parents who are working to become more self-sufficient through education and employment opportunities. Our experienced case managers accompany participants for up to 5 years on their journey to identify, address, and break down barriers to improving their quality of life and achieving meaningful goals for themselves and for their families. Professional, compassionate assistance is offered in a safe and trusting environment as participants develop the skills needed to become financially stable and able to support themselves. Every achievement starts with a decision to try. To learn more about Catholic Charities' Family Self-Sufficiency Program, call 847-782-4233 or visit CatholicCharities.net.
Year 44 for me teaching. When I started here, there were teachers here that had taught me when I was a student. Now I'm the old person. Right now, I teach junior high math. I love when kids find what I'm teaching to be fun and they get it. I see that light bulb go off and it's a thrill. People are always amazed. What? You're here for 44 years? It's hard for me to believe, frankly. I love what I do. Every summer I think, oh, I miss the classroom. Even on the weekends, I think I can't wait to get back on Monday and teach those quadratic equations.
Shape the next generation of leaders. Teach. Apply today at archchicago.org/schooljobs.
For more than 20 years, Catholic Charities Adult Protective Services has been advocating for seniors who are the victims of abuse, neglect, confinement, or financial exploitation. With our partners at local, city, and state agencies, our trained case managers follow through on every concern that is brought to our attention in a cooperative way to ensure that our seniors are safe and protected. According to the Illinois Department on Aging, last year nearly 21,000 cases of elder abuse were reported in Illinois. Of these, only 5% were reported by seniors themselves. So raising awareness is an important part of this issue. If you are concerned about a senior you know, call 800-252-8966. That's 800-252-8966. With your help, we can stop elder abuse and look out for the seniors in our lives.
Welcome back to Mission Matters Live. I'm Megan Mio, Director of the Global Mission Office, and I'm here with Father Leo Tinkatumire, who is with us in studio all the way from Mbarara in Uganda. And he's been telling us about his priestly ministry, his vocation as a priest, as well as his mission projects through Leddy Resource Center, which is an Illinois-based non-profit mission organization that he founded, and he's been sharing with us how it all kind of developed, a number of different projects, starting with water cisterns, moving into education for the students, Leo Primary School in particular, as well as St. Oliva Medical Center, which grew out of the need for healthcare in the community, and then the Insinjiro Business Community Savings and Credit Cooperative to help families support their children and save and plan for the future. And then he also topped it all off with working and gathering women in women's clubs to support one another, to talk, to share, to learn, and teach one another in the community, which I'm sure has just been life-changing for the community. So, Father Leo,
yes,
of all these things that you have been able to accomplish, and many of them in conversation and communication with folks here in the U.S., thanks to your time here and your studies and your mission appeal work, what are you most proud of? What do you want us to remember about these stories that you've shared with us today?
Now, this is not about faith. Because many people think it's about proud the faith, being a priest and whatever, but it's being human.
Right.
My parents always said that justice is in making sure that especially people who are not you are getting what is their right. And what I'm really proud of is that I have been out here and even out there in Uganda for others. To make sure that others also do something. Yeah. For the people in Isinjiro, I've provided education, good health, good water. And for the people here, I've given an opportunity for them to participate in making a positive difference in the lives of those who could not do it for themselves.
Yeah.
And I remember sharing with some of my friends who are privileged, and I would say, how do you feel signing a check for people you really don't know?
You may never meet.
And you may never meet them, and nobody is going to even to say thank you because you'll never meet them again.
Right.
And I think that's where the real humanity is. The real humanity. Because I think when we live true humanity, truly, God is served automatically, spontaneously. And I always would feel, I'm in Chicago, they tell me Chicago is a land of millionaires, and I would be driving in California to preach appeals, and I'm going through Beverly, and I'm saying, can one of these know that I really have a passion to make a difference among the people? Yeah. And probably say, I can write a check and make sure that your budget this year is taken care of. Yeah. But unfortunately, God has given me many humble people, most of them senior citizens, living on a fixed income, and they have made the impact you have seen that we are describing. And I know there are some millionaires also who are there. Probably they have never had an opportunity. If one of them is listening, probably he wants to do something. I don't know if they will contact you. But for me, I feel what should make us proud, and mostly proud, is to make sure that those people who are in need and we are capable of doing something toward their need, if we can do it, I think justice will be served.
Well, it's always about knowing somebody who has those connections. I think you're the kind of person who inspires people. They inspire you too, I'm sure. But you gather people. And in fact, there's something on your website. I'm going to read it anyway. Something on your website that says that Letty Resource Center is a nonprofit founded by Father Leo to bring together people who otherwise would not know each other.
Exactly.
To make a positive contribution in building to a more just world.
Exactly.
So you gather people, you connect people.
Yes, I do. Me, Dr. Mio, I have preached in more than 300 churches in the United States.
Wow.
And I have gone all the way for my church in Uganda for the Archdiocese. And when I would be there, I would never talk about Lady because the MCP policy is clear. You go, you talk about the church.
We talk about you.
And the need of the church.
Yeah.
So Lady Resource Center would never come in any of my missions. But people would see the passion. And someone would come after Mass and say, oh, no, I want to know something more.
Yeah, tell me.
And some of these people who would reach out are the people who have done what you have seen.
Right.
Outside the MCP, the Mission Cooperative Plan Arrangement, some people just approach me, and some people say, wow, and can we do something for what you think you are doing? And those people need to have an opportunity. Yeah. That's why I'm very grateful that you have given this opportunity, because probably someone who has never heard that something like this even is happening may hear. Yeah. And when he hears, who knows, if the Spirit touches them, they will say, how can I reach there and proudly do something? Yeah. And for that reason, now we need 2 dormitories for the students, because we don't have dormitories.
We need 2 dormitories.
We need 2 dormitories, one for the girls, one for the boys.
Right.
And each dormitory will go for a whooping $650,000. These are 3-level dormitories with 4 in each. There will be 16 dormitories in one each. Okay. And it goes for $650,000.
Each building.
Each building. So I need 2. That means I need $1,300,000.
Yeah.
That's what I need if the school has to continue running. Yeah. And sometimes I wonder, where will this money come from? I don't know. I just go to the Blessed Virgin Mary. I whisper to Jesus, let the Holy Spirit intercede in this, and we see what will happen. Who knows? The Lord will do it. Mm-hmm. When I had a meeting with the youth and women, they said they need a center. Yeah. Because now they meet in the veranda of the shops of the people, and sometimes they are just chasing them away. And that center, when I went to an architect, he said it will cost about $175,000. So that's a smaller thing compared to the dormitories. So $175,000, we would have a center that will last forever for these groups.
Yeah. And they can do all kinds of things with that.
Obviously, because in there they have the store, they have halls where they can sit and do whatever they are supposed to do. And this budget that now for this year, when we sat as a Lady Foundation, we put down a budget that is $750,000 that they gave me. I said, Father, if we could raise this, then we can build one piece of the dormitory, and then we can also do some little work. I said, okay, I'm praying.
Keep praying.
That's what I do.
Well, and that's why you're here today, too. I want to let our listeners know Father Leo has shared some of his goals with us, and they can learn more about Letty and the work of Letty by going to their website, LettyResourceCenter.com. That's LettyResourceCenter.com. You can also find Letty Resource Center on Facebook.
Yes.
So if you want to get in touch with Father Leo, like so many others have done, and to learn more and to give and maybe visit even.
Yeah.
You can go to those websites and find out. He's already been inviting me, so he's inviting you too. Listeners, your final word, Father Leo. We just have a minute.
Okay. I want to thank you very, very much.
Yes.
I want to thank the Archdiocese of Chicago for giving me an opportunity. I want to thank all the friends of Letty and my friends for all we have accomplished. Yeah. May God continue to bless us.
Thank you very much, Father Leo. It's been a pleasure to get to know you and be a partner in this mission. So thank you very much for joining us, Father Leo, and thank you for listening. Remember, everyone, always be on mission.
Join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.